Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome. So we're here today with a brand new series on this channel. By the title you could probably tell what it is, or maybe I'll hide the title so you can't tell what it is. That would be some nice funny little stuff. But now we're here today with Demon Slayer season 1 episode 1. So we're starting Demon Slayer, obviously probably the most hyped anime of 2020 if I'm being completely honest, and I didn't watch it. A lot of these, like, to be fair, right, if you've been on my channel for any sort of time, you'll know that I don't tend to watch seasonals at all. And Demon Slayer, it was, it was hyped up very much. People loved it a lot. I know that. Obviously, set some sales records in terms of the manga, so it was big. Like, it was massive. And I've not watched it. And I was thought to myself, you know what? One of these days, I'll actually get back into watching seasonals, quote unquote seasonals. All right, not things I've already finished 10 years ago, but actual seasonals, actual modern anime. So here we are with Demon Slayer episode 1. Now, let me just get right out there in the first episode what I know, everything that I know about this show. For starters, as I said, sales records, blah blah blah. I think it also finished. I know it has a movie, and I know that the movie is called Mugen Train or something, and that movie was turned into season 2 from what I remember hearing on Discord. By the way, if you want to join my Discord, you can do so. The link is in the description down below. That's basically all I know. And one last thing, there is a character that resembles Michael Jackson from what I've seen. I'm not sure. I think he's supposed to be Michael Jackson, he's based off Michael Jackson, but I'm actually not 100% sure. I think he's moonwalking or something. Again, I'm kind of going with uncertainty. See, I don't know whether it's this show or I'm thinking of a different show. But yeah, basically that's all I kind of know. And I think one of the episodes was highlighted as the best episode of 2020, something like that. What else do I know? Ufotable. Ooh, of course. Good old Ufotable. UFO. And the tax avoiders. I mean, hey, who cares? I don't. It's not my tax that they're paying, but yeah. Honestly, I'm just yeah. Ufotable, they've never had a miss so far. I've watched their Fate series, I've watched the Karen no Kyukai series of theirs, and I've enjoyed everything. And granted, that's just them adapting content, same with obviously Demon Slayer, but in terms of just cinematography, in terms of animation, in terms of actual music, they've never missed. Now, in terms of music, I probably should know the opening to Demon Slayer. When I say should know, I'm talking about the instrumental, just because I'm sure it would have come across when I listened to Animen's, just having Animen's in the background, Animen's piano channel. Just having him in the background, I probably would have been played in the background, but I've not actually listened to it, known it was Demon Slayer, or watched the opening. So we're gonna be watching the opening. Obviously, we're not gonna be avoiding it in case it has spoilers, because quite frankly, you all know how I am with spoilers. I don't really care, to be fair, because I tend to forget anyway. I tend to forget anyway, right? Unless I've seen something with context, spoilers, I just don't remember, basically. That's how it kind of is with me. But with that said, though, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started with episode 1. This will be a highlight. It won't be full length, by the way. This will be a highlight reaction, I think. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. But if it is a highlight reaction, you'll get full length on Patreon. If it's not, then you'll get a highlight version on Patreon, whichever one works out best, I guess. But with that said, let's get ready to rock and roll. I've definitely seen the main character before. Oh, what happened to that? Okay. Okay, so we've got a character called I should have got myself a notebook, I guess. Big brother, Nezuko, and Tanjiro. Okay, well, I don't even need to write that down. I'm not sure when this video will come out, but it will be out near New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, so I guess that's kind of perfect timing. Alright, this is too wholesome. Now, this is way too wholesome, right? And there's not been a single shonen. I think it's a shonen, actually. I'm not sure whether it's shonen or seinen. As far as I know, there's not been a single shonen that's just wholesome. Damn it, I'm bad with names. You all know that. That's gonna be a pain. Yeah, this is obviously not going well. Especially with the very first scene that we've had. How many siblings? No, so that's Nezuko. She looked different though when, like, he carried her early. I mean, obviously that's later still. But... What do you mean, help me out? Sniff it. Oh, don't tell me he's got like some... Alright, Mr. Gun. I see it now, the green clothes and the green clothing and everything. I see it now. Mr. Freaks. I see it. Alright. This episode has been too wholesome, so clearly something bad is gonna happen. Dangerous for what reason? Oh, well, I should have figured. The show is called Demon Slayer. I was like, dangerous for what reason? Are there like bandits outside? But no, I should have realized. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, it's a tiny little shack. Great way to help him sleep. Yeah, okay. Alright. Don't tell me all of them. Alright! Alright, Ufotable, they like adapting some crazy shit. Oh no, she's been possessed. How do you... Where did she just go? And how... Yeah. Your sister is gone. Oh, heck no. Oh, heck no. And you know what, I respect that a lot, because in that moment I would not think about anything of that, like that. In that moment, like, I would think, how would I flip to get out of here? No! Oh. Oh, I was gonna say that. She just came through. She just pulled through and you were there to like cut off her head or something. Nah, that was... And she shrunk. Nah, this guy had no questions asked, no nothing, just... I mean, nah, this guy ain't... you can't... Yeah, he's not here to play around. Look at that suit. How did... What? How did he just speed blitz you like that? That wasn't just speed blitz. Now this guy... Teleported. How do you have the confidence to say all that? This guy doesn't even know what's going on. He's as clueless as me. No matter what you say, he still sees her as a sister. Who's the voice actor though? That's freaking cool. Yeah, this guy needs to chill. What's up with you? He doesn't know what's going on, alright? I don't know where he's trying. Get the hatchet! And this snowstorm just comes out of nowhere every time, bro. That's gotta dislocate the shoulder right there, bro. Where's the hatchet? He's hasn't got a hatchet in his hand. He picked it up, didn't he? Okay. Alright. 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 The hatchet. You talking from personal experience here? And yet she didn't. And yet she didn't. He's not gonna kill her. No, yeah, not after all that. You kind of. This guy's been having internal monologues and external monologues for like a good 5 minutes. He's not just gonna kill them. Oh my goodness. She's like a vampire. I mean, it kind of explains her having to feed. In a way, yeah. As a first episode, this has gotten. It's been very focused, which usually first episodes don't tend of modern shows don't tend to be. Cruelty. That's the title of the first episode. Is that the ending or the opening? Because sometimes the first episodes like to play the opening as the ending. Nah, play. Okay, so it was the show that had MJ. Ah, Lisa, of course. Ooh, this guy's lightning. And that looks like clip. Is that... Okay. So, we finish with the first episode. Immediately my takes are, I like it. It's very focused, which I usually don't get with a lot of, like, modern shonen. When I watch them, I don't watch too many modern shonens, as you all know. But usually, like, modern shonens, they usually have a lot of characters being introduced in the first episode. In the case, where you just can't really keep up. In this scenario, we had a lot of characters introduced, but then a lot of them were also just like... a lot of them we got rid of basically immediately. And I think the three characters that we really have to like focus on. I don't know about the grandfather. I'm just gonna assume the grandfather isn't that important. That could be completely wrong, I know, but that's just what I'm gonna assume. The three characters that clearly are massively important, obviously not just because I've seen the opening now. I think that was the opening, at least at the ending there. But just because of how they were portrayed in this episode, with their character designs per se, Nezuko, I believe her name is Tanjiro, and I don't quite know the other guy's name that we saw at the end. I think Gui. Let me just try and see whether I can find how it's said and how it's also how he also pronounces it. Let's see. Giyu. Alright, so we've got Giyu, Tanjiro, and Nezuko. Now, Giyu I find quite interesting because clearly it struck a chord with him. It clearly struck a nerve because he was. I mean, they all kind of have like this dead look in their face, like straight up. They kind of all look like, man, I've seen this a billion times before, and I'll see this a billion times more, in that kind of vein. But like the way he started his monologue, almost out of frustration towards Tanjiro, to me, I found very, very interesting because it wasn't even a provoked monologue. Like I know Tanjiro he was very desperate, so he's trying to like do everything that he could. But then for him to react, for Gyu to react, is it Gyu or would I just say Tomioka? I'm gonna assume Gyu. For Gyu to react like that and basically just like be like, don't put yourself on the ground, don't grovel, don't bow in front of me, all your weaknesses, you crying, this and that, like to me it just sounded like oh okay, you're clearly speaking here from your own personal experience and from your own personal happenstance. I did like his outlook on life. It's a very, I wouldn't say nihilistic view, but it's a very shit happens, and if shit happens, I can't change that. You know, him saying, oh, if I gotten here a half a day earlier, your family wouldn't have died, but unfortunately I can't turn back time, so now you just kind of, you got to deal with the cards that you dealt with. In that vein, I kind of very much like that thought process because it very much mirrors my own, so I'm just like, yeah, you know what, that's an interesting thought process to have. Now I'm gonna just infer a few things here, one of them being him going on about like, oh, a long time ago when he was having his inner dialogue, him going on about, oh, a long time ago, you know, there was another person that thought that his I think it's a sibling, it could be sibling, but another person thought like, oh, you know, his sibling wouldn't turn on him, attack him, so on and so forth, and he was wrong. I think he was clearly speaking about himself here. Maybe like a brother got infected and then turned on the parents, and he had to put like his brother down, something like that. That's my immediate thought, like just out of what we saw from this episode. Now, of course, the question will be whether Nezuko will turn on Tanjiro, whether she's really in there as well. I mean, clearly she is, because she wasn't going after him for like an Trista's snack or anything of that sort. But I do wonder how much of her is actually in there. Like, is she still capable of speech? Is she still capable of interacting? He did mention don't, you know, expose her to sunlight, which I found very, very interesting, because that should mean I want to see what like the consequences are of that. But considering that we've been told by the grandfather that like demons specifically come out at night, that I'm like, that's why, because they can't be exposed to sunlight, not because, you know, it's much easier to hunt at night. So I find that very interesting. Yeah, I mean, like, for me the big thing really is how much of her is in there. Now, she was clearly very weakened here, healing herself, so on and so forth, and you know, if you realistically she should have gone after him. But my question, I guess, is there gonna be a moment where like she's gonna be, where maybe like he will be pushed, Tanjiro will be pushed, because clearly the show is called Demon Slayer. I know my shonen well enough. He's obviously going to become a demon slayer. He's going to hunt, get revenge, you know, seek the answers, seek how to cure her, so on and so forth. Obviously, that's going to be where the show is going. But my question is, to an extent, will he be pushed to like his limit, where you know, he'll be seriously injured, and then Nezuko will step in for him, and you know, she'll fight on his behalf, or she'll do whatever, you know, he was trying to do on his behalf, and then she'll get seriously wounded, and then like they're both seriously wounded, and then like she'll be forced to almost consume him in a manner to save both of their lives. Like, oh, I'm gonna turn him into a demon, that way he can heal himself, because that's kind of what he was, that was kind of what Gyu was saying, that like she was using so much energy to heal herself. So clearly she, you know, can regenerate in some shape, manner, or form. Now, of course, humans can do that anyway, but I'm assuming it's accelerated healing. It's not like the, you know, the slow healing that us humans do, but actually, like, you know, oh, that's already healed in that kind of manner, you know. So yeah, 3 characters. I mean, we're introduced to more characters, but 3 characters that really stood out to me. With that said, first episode, good impression. Art style, of course. Kind of what's it during the reaction, I think Ufotable, or maybe I just thought it, I don't know. But Ufotable, I kind of see what kind of stories they like to go against, that they like to make, adapt. And I find it funny how this show, you know, don't expose her to sunlight. Another show that's supposed to be in the darkness, confined in the darkness and in the shadows. I do find that quite funny, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, we'll see how the show pans out. First episode, good impression. If I had to give it an actual rating, I mean, they're difficult to do, but I do actually kind of want to incorporate actually like giving things ratings too. If I had to give the episode an actual rating, I would say I'd give it like a solid like 7 out of 10. I liked a lot of things. There wasn't really anything that I necessarily disliked, but there's a lot of setup. Not even that much setup. There's a good amount of setup to what I feel like is going to be the next 5 episodes. As in, like, he's going to meet the people that Gyu recommended. Sakonji Yorokodaki at the front of Mount Sagiri. So he's going to meet this Mr. Sakonji. You know, I feel like that's going to be a setup for the next 5 episodes. And as I said, I think he's going to, clearly by the opening and clearly by it being a shonen, he's going to like join the group of demon slayers or whatever they're going to call himself. And it seems like his theme is going to be water, which if that is the case, I'm here for it. I'm here for it because, as you all know, I've said this a billion times before and I'll say it a billion times more because I like saying it. My favorite element is water. Always has been, always will be. So if his element is going to be water, in however form that manifests, I'm going to be here for it. So with that said, yeah, very enjoyable episode. And I do like the voice acting, especially when he broke down. Was very good. Even the monologue that Giyu, not Guji, Giyu, damn it. But even the monologue that Giyu had, I mean, he had twice, but like one where he was actually having emotions, you know, one where he actually kind of like snapped the external one. Even during that monologue, I felt that was very well voice acted, so that was quite good. And of course, it's very difficult for me to actually tell whether someone's a good voice actor or not, because I'm not a native Japanese speaker. You know, I'm not from Japan, so obviously I wouldn't know what would be a good voice acting and just someone screaming, shouting. You know, that's always been one of those, like, are they really good voice actors, or am I just like, yeah, it sounds good? You know, there's clearly a difference, but I'd have to be a native speaker for that to really, for me to really be able to judge that. But from what I could hear, I liked it. Main character so far, I can't say too much about it. Like, he's a hardworking guy. His father died. That was quite interesting. His grandfather seems to know a lot about the demons and demon slayer, so as well as his grandmother. But since, you know, we only saw her in a flashback. I mean, granted, she might be alive, but since we only saw her in a flashback, I don't think she is. So with that said, yeah, we'll see how the rest of the story pans out. I do find it kind of funny. He had the most unique design out of all his siblings, and of course, he's the main character. The rest of the siblings kind of like look like whatever, honestly. And of course, they killed off. The one thing that we do know as well know is his sense of smell, which is interesting, fascinating, because my first thought was, you know, green clothing and a great sense of smell. That sounds like episode 1 of Hunter x Hunter 2011. That's all I'm gonna say. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you all thought about this episode. If you're watching this alongside with me for the first time, what do you think of the episode? If you're not watching this alongside me for the first time, what are your thoughts on the episode in general? With that said, I'll see all of you in the next one. Until then, have a nice day. Peace out, and bye.